it's Emily, and I wanted to film a quick video talking about my TBR for the month of September. And I've been wanting to start to do something a little bit different with my TBRs. I absolutely love watching TBR games and having a little bit of fun, a little bit of randomness put into a TBR. And I've been trying to think about what I could do that I hadn't quite seen before. And I thought of my FairyLoot tarot cards, and they're absolutely gorgeous, and I look at them all the time. But I wanted to see if there was something else I could use them for that could make a TBR a little bit fun. So I decided to associate a prompt. I have 8 tarot cards. I've been getting the FairyLoot box for 4 months, and they come 2 to a box. So I have 8 tarot cards from FairyLoot, and I wanted to come up with some sort of prompt for each one, see what I could do, and then use those prompts and kind of draw at random to help pick part of my TBR. So let's talk about the cards and what prompt I did for each one. So for Harry, this is the Hanged Man, and this tarot card tends to mean surrender or sacrifice or being part of a larger effort, and this kind of made me think of the environmental movement. And so I wanted this prompt to be an environmentally related book, whether that's a fiction book. I've got a lot of climate fiction, or a nonfiction book related to environmental issues. And I just used little tabs that I normally use for marking my books when I read. I just had a little tab on there to kind of remind me what prompt I wanted to do for each card. So Harry is an environmental book. We've got Hermione, who is the star. And at first this made me think of sci-fi, but I found a different one for sci-fi. But I was also kind of thinking of people as stars, like celebrities, and so that kind of made me think of memoirs. And so I have plenty of memoirs to read, and so I wanted there to be a separate prompt for memoirs. So Hermione is a memoir. Draco's card is the Death Tarot card, which made me think of mysteries and thrillers, and I've got enough to kind of make it its own category. There's also a lot coming up that I want to read as it gets into fall, and so I think this would be a perfect one to pick right now. Dear Luna is the Moon tarot card, and I wasn't quite sure what to do with this, and I wanted some prompt for series to prompt myself to either work on completing a series or maybe even starting another one if by some miracle I have completed all of my series. So Luna is series, and yeah, I couldn't quite find a way to tie this to the moon or to her character, but I wanted this to be a prompt, so whatever. And Dumbledore is the Magician, of course, which made me think of fantasy, and I didn't want to be more specific than that. I just kind of wanted to leave it at fantasy and just go with that. So Dumbledore is fantasy. Ron is the sun, and this one was the one that first made me think of sci-fi. It's got this big beautiful sun in the background, and it just really made me think of being out in space, and so the sun was the one that I wanted to go for sci-fi. So I haven't read Six of Crows. I'm pretty sure these are Kaz and Inej. Kaz and Inej is how I say them, but I don't know which is which. But anyway, this is the Temperance tarot card, and that just kind of made me think of old-timey classic, made me think of the temperance movement back in the day, and so this one I wanted to be historical fiction. And then for the Hermit, I wasn't really quite sure what to do, but I decided to actually kind of do the opposite of the card. I wanted there to be one card that added a slight extra element of mystery, and I wanted there to be some sort of poll or some sort of way to be interactive, whether that be voting in a poll in a YouTube video or in the comments or on Twitter or on Instagram or something, some way to make it interactive. So if I draw this one, then I will make it somewhat interactive. And so I want to pick 3 to 4 books, and this can potentially change, so the number of books I pick can change just kind of, I don't know, based on what other things I know I want to read that month. So I'm just gonna shuffle them here, and yeah, so let's have a go, and I want to pick this one. Memoir. Okay, for memoir, I'm gonna pick Hidden Figures. This is by Margot Lee Shetterly. I saw the movie. This movie was incredible, and this is a story of some real women who worked at NASA in the space race and were very instrumental in white dudes getting to the moon. And so it follows these African American women as they work for NASA and just how badass they are and the things that they had to overcome while working there. And stories like these don't get told enough, and so it's really exciting when these stories get published and movies get made from them as well. And so this one is one that I'm really excited to get to, so this is a perfect opportunity. So I've left the memoir card out, and I'm just gonna continue shuffling for a little bit. Okay. And I want to do the top card here. Sci-fi. It's also perfect because I want to continue with the Benty series. This is the third one. This is Benty Night Masquerade by Nnedi Okorafor. And I read the second one for Newts. I absolutely loved it. And I want to continue on with the series. So this follows Benty, who is from a people who haven't really left their homeland, and she gets accepted to an off-world university to study math, and it follows her leaving without telling anyone to go to this university, things that happen on the transport on the way there, her coming home to kind of face her family after basically running off, and just coming to terms with her identity. And it's a fascinating story, so I'll be continuing with this for the sci-fi prompt. Okay, and let's just see here. Dropped them. Okay. Alright. And I'm gonna go with the top one here. Hanged Man, an environmental book. This is perfect. I mentioned this book on my books I want to read before the end of 2019. So this is Getting to Green by Frederick C. Rich. This is a nonfiction book about partisan politics when it comes to climate change and environmental issues and how we can kind of bridge those divides. Alright, should we give it one more go? I think we should give it one more go. Okay. Let's do this middle one here. Fantasy. Okay, perfect. For this one, I'm going to pick Dreams of Gods and Monsters. And this one, I know I've had on my TBR before. I know. But I'm filming this a few days into September, and I have actually already started it. I started it on my way home. I was traveling home this weekend. So when I was coming back to Virginia, I had started this, and so I'm committed. I'm doing it. It's happening. It's not going to be in my TBR again because I am reading it this month. This is the final book in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series by Laini Taylor. It follows a woman named Karou, who is an art student in Prague, but raised by these demon creatures. And she doesn't really know why she was kind of raised by this family, what her role is in this world, and she runs errands for these demon creatures. It kind of gets caught up in a war between angels and demons. It's fabulous. I'm really enjoying this series, and this is the final one. It's gonna be great. There are a few other things that I need to get to in September. So the September book for the feminist book that I'm a part of is All the Single Ladies, Unmarried Women and the Rise of an Independent Nation by Rebecca Traister. I'll put a picture of it right here. So I need to read that one by the end of the month. I believe it's actually on Libby, either on Scribd or on Libby. I think I have access to the audiobook, one of those routes, so I think I'll probably do that. I also, speaking of finishing the series, like Dreams of Gods and Monsters, I would also like to finish another series, or at least get caught up with it, and like to read Blood Witch by Susan Dennard, and this one is on Scribd. As I mentioned in my July wrap-up, I'd like to finish it on audio and then go back and read it physically, maybe read it physically and listen to the audio at the same time. But I'll eventually need to go back and like to really delve into these books, but I'm thoroughly enjoying the audiobooks, and I kind of want to go through those and then go back, so I'm going to listen to the audiobook of Blood Witch and really hope to get to that. I also have a few I hope I can get to them books. So one is Broken Throne by Victoria Aveyard. I read this series earlier on in the year, and I read the novella In This World for Newts, and so it kind of just got me excited about the world again. And while I'm in that mood, it would be nice to actually get to Broken Throne. So this is a just series of stories that kind of continue where the last book left off. So it's not like a full-on novel, that expands upon the plot, but it just expands upon the world really, and just adds stories and adds context and richness to the world, and it just kind of is bonus content that actually ends up making a pretty thick book, but I'm hoping to get to this at some point soon. While I'm excited about the world, I just kind of would like to dive back in and get to Broken Throne. There's also Girls of Paper and Fire. The next book in the series is coming out in early November, so either in September or October. I really would like to get to this and see if I like this series and see if I want to pick the second one up. So this follows a woman who is basically brought to be the concubine of the king demon in this world, along with some other women, and she ends up falling in love with one of these other paper girls is what they're called. They're kind of the lower class or caste in this society, and they are brought to be concubines to the king, and yeah, so it's about her story. I also had started, I got this in New York at the Strand. This is Elantris by Brandon Sanderson, and I started it a little bit on the way home, and I would like to continue with this soon. I had a bunch on July for my TBR. I was doing news last month, so I just haven't had a chance to pick this back up, but I was really loving it, and I would really like to pick it back up. But here we go. This is a pretty good TBR for the month, I think. So what do you think? Have you read any of these books? What are you reading in the month of September? Are you excited to see FairyLoot tarot cards help determine my TBR? Let me know what you think. And yeah, be sure to let me know in the comments below. I'll also link my Instagram and Twitter below. That's where I like to hang out. And I'll also link my climate change channel where I talk about climate change and sustainability. I'm in the process of moving or adding some of the climate videos from this channel, like adding a copy on that channel and getting everything set up, but I will still have it linked below, and I'll be making new videos for it very soon. And with that, yeah, subscribe below and give this video a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.